The new year has literally just started and things already look pretty bad for Hillary. Latest reports suggest that some new information about Hillary Clinton's email server probe has been discovered by the House investigators that show FBI was aware that Clinton broke the law, but did nothing about it. According to BizPac, review lawmakers have pointed out some irregularities in the investigation that show the FBI had both reason and evidence to trust that Hillary Clinton broke federal law, together with the help of her staff. The Hill was informed by congressional investigators that they have written statements that show that the Bureau believed there were law violations, as well as evidence that her help transferred classified information with her private email server. Both Republicans on 3 House committees and the Senate Judiciary Committee have used recent interviews and document productions, together with an analysis of the drafted exoneration of Hillary's crimes, of former FBI Director James Comey as the basis of their findings. Evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information was acknowledged in the drafts of the statement, according to investigators on Capitol Hill. Comey said in a paragraph of one of his draft statements on May 2, 2016, the sheer volume of information that was properly classified as secret at the time it was discussed on email, that is, excluding the up-classified emails, supports an inference that the participants were grossly negligent in their handling of that information. Reports from the Hill state that Comey said, although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. It was confirmed by the FBI that a key witness lied to them in his interviews according to memos. The witness was a computer technician who got rid of Hillary's emails from her server back in 2015 after a congressional subpoena had been issued for them. In the documents released by the FBI, his name was redacted, but it was still mentioned that he was working for a computer firm that had access to Clinton's email server. From the Hill claim that investigators have told them how he admitted to falsely testifying one day after Comey's statement was already being rewritten. Originally, the witness told the Bureau in an interview in February 2016 that he couldn't remember deleting anything from Hillary's servers. However, on May 3, the same year, he told the FBI that he had just remembered that in late March 2015 he had deleted Hillary's email archive from the server. False testifying in front of the FBI is a federal crime, punishable by law. Nevertheless, the FBI resolved not to pursue criminal charges and on top of everything gave him immunity deal. As congressional investigators said, this way they enabled the technician to correct his story. The biggest and obvious irregularity the Republican investigators found is Comey's decision to start drafting an exoneration statement for Hillary before even gathering all the necessary evidence. The first draft is dated on May 2, 2016, yet agents continued to receive evidence even after that, on May 13, May 19 and May 26. Justice needs to be served. What do you think?
Tonight, President Trump unveiled his fake news awards. Here with reaction, the host of Michelle Malkin Investigates on CRTV, Michelle Malkin, and The Hill's Joe Concha. I loved every one of it. Never mind the stories they don't cover. And this is the tip of the spear, the tip of the iceberg, Michelle.
It is. It's simply brilliant. I've got to hand it to President Trump and to everyone who compiled this list. I think that the execution leading up to the revelation of these awards was also brilliant. Because look at what you had. You had all of these thumbsuckers in the media working themselves up into an Olympic-sized lather. I counted about a half dozen pieces just over the last 24 hours decrying the fake news awards before they were even given as some sort of escalation and a threat of violence against press freedoms. And of course, we had Jeff Snowflake or Cornflake, Flake, on the Senate floor right? Frosty Flake embarrassing himself with his hyperbolic speech, comparing our president in a very fun way, being able to tell truths about the fake media, comparing our president to Stalin. These people, as you have so deftly pointed out, over the last hours and days and months, have completely lost their minds. And now President Trump is going to force them to cover each and every single item on the list.
Everybody in the bubble, the echo chamber, you know who all they are. I mean, we know who, we can name them. We do name them. But this is why it's so important. They've been saying that this is so bad for freedom of the press. We know what's bad for freedom of the press? Lying. And not only lying, those choices, they won't cover the biggest stories that exist in our lifetime because of their agenda, and they still can't get over that they were wrong on the election.
Or, Sean, you could make the argument that Donald Trump is exercising his First Amendment right by pushing back at the media as he did during these fake news awards.
He has one?
Well, apparently presidents have never really done that before, right? Republicans are always so worried they're going to get bad press, so they kind of kowtowed and didn't really punch back like this. I would argue that Trump supporters probably see the media as the opposition party more than Pelosi or Booker or Warren or anybody in the Democratic Party.
Why shouldn't he push back?
This
is well-deserved awards for losers.
Well, if you see the list here, it really is a great microcosm of 2017. Quick rundown of it. CNN won 4 awards, and I would imagine they'll make an ad campaign out of that. I'm not being sarcastic. They'll see it as a badge of honor, and that's fine.
By the way, that's really twisted because they were wrong in every count.
Well, right, exactly. I don't think they'll list the stories they got wrong.
You like our montage of the
S-holes?
The whole network.
Well,
the whole fake news network.
I believe they said it 165 times.
By the way, I want to say it here, but I can't. Because if I say it here, I have to sit in a meeting and get lectured that I shouldn't have said it and followed policy, and I don't feel like sitting through that meeting.
I'll let Michelle jump back in again. New York Times won 2, Washington Post 2, ABC 1, Newsweek 1. Here's the interesting part. BuzzFeed, they released the dossier, was not nominated. Very interesting.
Okay.
Also, Unscathed, networks that didn't get an award. NBC, surprising, CBS, and Fox News. Shocking.
Well, maybe. All right. You know, what's happening, I think, if you look at the statistics we showed last night, 2017, the year they tried to destroy a president with media research, but it's also a year that they created the biggest disservice to the American people. They are hurt when they can't get the truth, Michelle.
Yeah, that's right. And just to add a footnote to Joe's tally, the New York Times, I think I would actually add one more, since, of course, Eric Lichtblau came from the New York Times to CNN to commit the same kind of media malpractice that he did at the New York Times, the fish wrap of record. Look, to the point that you made, Sean, too, about why shouldn't our president push back against the media, I would turn that back, too, against all of those Republican senator sellouts over the last couple of days who've been auditioning for jobs with the liberal media. Do they not remember the pushback under the Obama administration? And I'm not just talking about all of the spying that the Obama administration did on journalists, from Cheryl Atkinson to the Associated Press to Fox News. Remember that the Obama White House had specifically assigned the White House communications director at the time, Anita Dunn, to go out every day in press briefings and specifically attack Fox News. And what do these people want to do? They want to disarm our president and his supporters and grassroots conservatives and independents who put him in office, and gag him from using his own First Amendment rights to push back when the media is wrong.
Ever be the person they want him to be. He's never going to put plane loads of cash, cargo plane loads of cash, and give them to Iranian mullahs and kiss their ass and try and bribe them not to be murdering dictators that want to destroy us. Joe.
Saying ass won't have you sit in a meeting tomorrow?
I'm not going to the meeting.
Okay, good for you. Look, and when people say, well, maybe things will change in 2018, we've clearly seen that this year has actually been worse than last year. We're only 16 days in. What happened with Sanjay Gupta is incredible to me, because he does a diagnosis from afar. That's one thing. He is also a neurosurgeon. Okay, so think of him as the electrician. And Ronnie Jackson wasn't the only person that was involved in the cardiovascular part of President Trump's prognosis. He also was actually consulting with cardiovascular surgeons from the Cleveland Clinic, which is one of the leading hospitals in the country. And those are the plumbers, right? So you have an electrician talking about what a plumber should be doing, right? And it's kind of like when I go to get my colonoscopy next month.
Thanks for
I have
sharing.
to do. Well, my dad had it. I got to go every 4 years. I would call my podiatrist. I mean, that's the thing.
Sure you don't want to say this on CNN, the old network?
Well, that's a very
TMI.
graphic thing. There are people on the West Coast that get to enjoy their dinner right now. So thanks for that.
Right, we got to roll.
I was trying to make a point.
You know, the president has a great sense of humor, and they'll never enjoy it. I thought this was great tonight. Good to see you.